Hello, I'm Julian Bride of Informa. We're here at the LTE World Summit in Berlin, and I'm with Doug Wolff, who's Vice President and Head of End-to-End LTE Solutions at Alcatel Lucent. Hello, Doug.
Hi.
It's a well-known fact that Alcatel Lucent is working with one of the first operators to roll out LTE, that's Verizon Wireless in the US. Talking more broadly about how operators should prepare for the technology, what should they be doing at this stage if they're looking forward to an LTE deployment sometime in the not-too-distant future?
Yeah, thanks. Alcatel Lucent has been one of the selected vendors for the initial deployments with Verizon Wireless, so we're very happy to be on the front end. So we're really kind of starting that evolution, but I'll talk more general just about what's happening there. Kind of look at the deployment requirements for an LTE solution. You really got to look at it end to end. But I'm going to start back at the cell site and kind of work out a little bit to kind of give a little bit of scope and perspective on it. So first, at the cell site, there's new LTE base stations that have to be deployed. In general, they're going to be integrated in some fashion with existing infrastructure that's there. With Verizon, it's CDMA. For most operators, it's either GSM or wideband CDMA. And Alcatel Lucent has solutions for all those. But there's deployment issues of the powering, the siting specifics. There's of course the antennas. Some existing antennas can be reused. Some new antennas may have to be deployed.
Yeah.
But a big part of that is once you get the base station sited and those complex issues of zoning, et cetera, is then you really got to look at your backhaul of the pipe that goes into and out of the base station. Because with the type of capability with LTE, we're expecting tremendous increases. So broadband to the cell site is extremely important, and in general there's upgrades required there. Some of it has happened on 3G, but really there's a next evolution of looking at Ethernet, optical, broadband type connectivity to the cell site.
Yeah, okay. In terms of LTE, when it is deployed, we've heard a lot this week about self-organizing networks and about the need to have that sort of capability from the outset.
Yeah.
Really. Is that something that you think is going to be important?
It's absolutely critical, and I think that's one of the things that we're getting feedback from the operators, and in fact the standard itself for the first time really has specified some of the key features and requirements to really ease the use of deployment and also to lower, of course, the operating costs for the operators, the OpEx expense. So there's key features like eNode B touchless commissioning, and several other things in the network. I go into a lot of details, but those are the type of features that required a tremendous amount of hands-on touching, and some of that is going to be abstracted according to the standard in terms of letting the network self-deploy some of these items. But there'll be interesting controls that the operator can make the decision, or the craftsperson, as to whether or not they want to put it in more automated mode for some of these features, or whether or not they want to input their specific data. So there's still control at the operator level, but extremely important to the overall value proposition of LTE. Okay.
Now, in terms again of how LTE will work for the operators, a key area that Alcatel Lucent is focusing on particularly is how operators can really make money out of these networks and this technology once they deployed it, and you have some initiatives on the ecosystem side.
Yeah, and I really think that's key. I mean, there's all the bits and bytes of getting the network up, but we think there's really important, kind of looking at some of the lessons learned from 3G, is look at the overall ecosystem. There's devices, but there's interesting new applications and interesting new content, retailers, et cetera, that are coming into the value chain. And from an Alcatel Lucent perspective, I think the value chain really needs to be understood from a couple levels. One, from just a business model, how is this all going to work? And then, these interesting applications with multiple parties have to be integrated together. So what Alcatel Lucent has done is created a program that we launched at Mobility World Congress called NG Connect, Next Gen Connect. So we've been taking some of the traditional players on the device side in this open ecosystem, but also some interesting players on content, like Atlantic Records, and media. We're also looking at new areas like digital signage and the machine-to-machine explosion. It's very probable in LTE you'll see more than one connected device, and you'll see a lot of different connected devices. It could extend into the car, for example. It could extend into cameras in different areas. So this lab that we've put together and the members who have joined this, we're putting together proof of concepts of some of the initial ideas and concepts and interoperability of getting those to the market.
Yeah. And can you give us some specific examples of how you might be working with these partners, or how they might help to create this
Yeah.
this ecosystem? What sort of services and applications are we talking about?
Yeah, there's a number we could get into, but one I'll focus on is just this digital signage and mobile enhanced reality.
Yeah.
So we've worked with a few of the partners who today on 3G, there's companies like Sinex and Demetis who work on applications of creating digital signage, but it's fairly one-dimensional. Looking at this for LTE in the future, we've put together some proof of concepts on how, for example, they purchase SIM cards from operators, and then we'll deploy those in various point of presence, billboards and video screens throughout the network. This could become very interactive in the future. In fact, with mobile enhanced reality technology with camera phones, or the phone on the camera, or a separate device, there's images that can be captured off of some of the signage that would take the end user either to the website to purchase, like a movie or whatever was being advertised, or to their website or other related type events, just to give you a small example.
So how do you take this initiative forward? Are you're looking for more partners, more companies?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're at the front end of it. So I think we've done a couple of proof of concepts. We launched those at Mobile Leader Conference, as I mentioned, but we've got tremendous interest in this and the number of members that want to come in some of the key areas. So I think you're going to see our list of partners grow. So we reference you back to the Alcatel Lucent website and our people there to understand who are we working with, and then if there's interested partners, we're more than willing to have a discussion.
Perhaps finally, I mean, why is this going to work for LTE? We've had similar initiatives or suggestion that these kind of ecosystems would develop around earlier generations of technology, and it clearly hasn't happened. Why is LTE going to be different? Yeah,
that's a great question. I mean, I think you always got to look at the past and take the lessons learned. And you look back at 3G, we were really on the front end of data, and I don't think we understood it very well. And you look at what's happening in today's networks with 3G now that it's deployed, there are interesting applications out there today. But, there's more that's coming in. You're seeing a lot of non-traditional players. You're seeing media, content, anything that can be connected will be connected to the network, that there's an explosion happening, into the mobile broadband area. So I think working out this value chain is very important. So I think that success is already happening in small steps, but to improve that quality of experience and bring interesting new partners together in an open forum is the right type of initiative to move things forward.
What response have you had from the operators so far?
Well, I think we had a pretty good response. I mean, we actually worked closely with the operators to determine what were the focus areas that we wanted to look at, and also on the proof of concepts or the areas we're looking at, we got good feedback on that from the operators. So working very closely with them, not doing this in isolation by any means. So very, very good so far.
Okay. Doug Wolff, thank you very much.
Thank you.